Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Hyphenate here, and today we're going to go over the fundamentals of cameras for both photo and video. Aperture, shutter speed, ISO. It doesn't matter what kind of camera or lens you use, the principles are the same. The combination of aperture, shutter speed, ISO are known as the exposure triangle. So let's just go ahead and get into the settings of the camera. First, we're going to put our camera into manual mode to allow us to control all three parameters. So first, let's talk about aperture. Aperture is the opening of a lens that allows light to pass through and reach your camera's sensor. In photo, it's measured in f-stops. In film, it's measured in t-stops. Different lenses have different adjustable aperture ranges. For example, a lens may have f1.4 to f16. Another lens may have f2.8 to f22, etc. The lower the f-stop, the wider the opening in the lens, thus wider aperture. That allows more light into the sensor, creating a brighter image and also giving you a more shallow depth of field. So your background or foreground, whatever is not in focus, will be more blurry. So to give you an example, here I'm controlling my camera with my phone. So if I change the f-stop from currently f1.3 to something higher like an f5.6, you're gonna see it got darker, but also the background is more in focus now. So let me go ahead and bring up the light, just that way we can get a clean look. So now the light is pretty much right in front of me, 100% output power. It's a really bright light, so it's actually really bright on me. We're still at f5.6, but now you can really see the background, the brick wall, how much more is in focus. So the higher the f-stop, the more narrow the opening, hence a narrow aperture. You get less blur, more of the image in focus. You get less light, resulting in a darker image. Now, a term that a lot of people use is referring to a lens as fast, a fast lens. That tends to be a lens with a wider aperture, such as f1.8, f1.4, f1.2, etc. Wider apertures are ideal for portraits, scenes with low light, and have a more cinematic look on video. Higher f-stops are great for landscapes, buildings, products, or if you have multiple people in a photo. All right, now let's talk about shutter speed, or in film, shutter angle. And this is how fast the shutter opens and closes when initiated by the shutter button, the button that you press to take photos. Now this is measured in seconds or fractions of a second. When the shutter is open, that also allows light to be gathered by the camera sensor. With a slower shutter speed, the longer it remains open, the more light gets through to the sensor, resulting in a brighter image. But a slower shutter speed also increases the motion blur. Things moving, you'll see them streak across or blur across as they move. So I'm gonna wave this light back and forth, and I'm gonna take photos with a camera right next to my video camera so that you can see the difference in shutter speed. So right now we're at 1/50th of a second. Now we're gonna do 1 second, which was slower, and now let's go higher. So now we're at 1/800th of a second. So as you can see, with a faster shutter speed, which is when the shutter closes quicker, you allow less light to enter, which results in a darker image. But you get less motion blur, and the faster you go, the more you can freeze motion. So you tend to use slower shutter speeds if you have less light, if it's dark, or if you want motion blur like waterfalls, cars with the light streaks, astrophotography. But if you're outdoors during the day, or if you have a lot of light present, a faster shutter speed will cut the light, but also allow you to get action shots or sports. So lastly, we have ISO, and it's not ISO, it's just ISO. Now this adjusts your sensor sensitivity to light. So the higher you bring up your ISO, the more light. The lower the ISO, the darker. However, there are some trade-offs. The higher you go up in ISO, the more noise you're gonna get in your image. So more grain and less sharpness. And the lower you are in your ISO, the cleaner the image, less grain, less noise, and sharper. So generally, I shoot at the lowest possible ISO and only raise it up as I need it. So here, controlling my camera, right now we are currently at ISO 400, shooting at f1.2, so wide open, and a shutter speed of 1/48th of a second. So at 400 ISO, I have very little noise. If I go down to 50, the lowest I can go, I'm gonna have the cleanest image. So if I wanna make this properly exposed, I would need to increase my lights to make sure that I have a good exposure with the lights and keeping my ISO low. But if I keep the lights at the power that they are at now, I'm gonna need to go towards 400 ISO in order to get a good exposure. So there you guys have it. Those are the fundamental parameters for cameras, for video and photo, the aperture, shutter speed, ISO. Now there are two very important tools that pretty much every camera has that will help you make sure that you get a well-balanced, proper exposure, and that's multimetering and histogram. There are many videos on YouTube that will show you how to use them for your specific camera. Now, we did shoot this video at Doubt Me Studios, which is my film photo studio in Los Angeles County. If you're interested in booking it for your productions, we do have a link in the description, or just check out doubtmestudios.com. Hopefully this video helped you. We have a lot of other playlists on this channel that go over video, photo, flash, lighting, etc. So check out those playlists. Please make sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.